Hello everyone, my name is Maria K. Simon and this is my reflection video for the course Comparative Education. In this reflection, I will share what comparative education is and why it matters, discuss what I have learned from the assessment, highlight the key readings, and end with my personal growth as a future educational leader. We are on the course overview. I'm starting with defining what is comparative education. So comparative education is the systematic study of different systems, policies, and practices across countries and contexts. It goes beyond simply comparing statistics. It asks why education, why works in one place and struggles in another. So this course matters because it equipped us to adopt best practices while avoiding mistakes others have made. As a future leader, we cannot make decisions in isolation, but on global experiences. So global experiences helps us to strengthen our own education system, especially in Namibia. And here I have an example of Namibia and South Africa. Now let's compare the education system between Namibia and South Africa. On the size and structure, we can say that Namibia has a smaller system comparing to South Africa, and we compare on curriculum and policy. So South Africa is based on curriculum and assessment policy statement, while Namibia curriculum is based on competency based. So looking at both on access and equity, in South Africa there is free and compulsory education, and while in 2016 Namibia started with universally primary education and secondary education. Comparing it with other country, with South Africa again, South Africa has high inequality, and also there is apartheid system in their education system. We have also shortage of teachers in Namibia and also higher rate of unemployment on teachers. Now let's look on language instruction. So the language instructions on both countries, they are not that far from each other. So in Namibia, we have English as an official language and also as a medium of instruction starting from grade 4. And also in South Africa, while in South Africa there are 11 official languages. And looking at higher education, we have smaller education sector comparing to South Africa, which have a higher education sector with a lot of universities. And also the key challenges in Namibia, we have a lack of resources and infrastructure and financial resources comparing to South Africa. While in South Africa, challenges are based on inequality between rich and poor, and also overcrowding classroom and also language barrier. And then on policies, so in Namibia we adopt policies, strong policies on equity and also inclusive. While the strength in South Africa means that their universities are globally recognized. And again, let's look to another example, comparative education between Namibia and Angola. So where it's on politics, Namibia is a one-party rule, so SWAPO dominated education policy since independence. While in Angola, there is a conflict disrupted in education and which leads to reform. And if you look at the governance, so in Namibia we have a stable government focusing on developing national identity, while in Angola there is a fragile government. Their government is so fragile and it's an emphasis on basic education. Now policy reform, we have post-independent policies aimed at equity and accessibility based on a national policies and also on sustainable development goals. And while in Angola there is post-war reforms to rebuild and expand their education. Now, what are the outcomes? So, Namibia has improved enrolled and also gender partially, while in Angola there is limited progress due to the effect of post-war. Now on assessment and reflection, in this course of comparative education, we had assignment, mostly group assignment. So and also online tests. So this course developed research and analytical skills. So through group assignment, I gained deeper understanding on global issues like inclusive education, financing, teacher effectiveness, and or equity. The group and also the group presentation challenged me to work collaboratively and appreciate different perspectives from my colleagues, and it trains me to analyze systems beyond surface level fact, asking why certain policies succeed in some contexts but fail in another. And readings, the course materials, most of the course materials are available on LMS. That's where we get our tests, that's where we get further notes and so. And I've also accessed some of the books such as Comparative and International Education, Post-Colonial Research Ethics, and also Comparative Education Research Approaches and Method. Now, in comparative and international education, it warns me against the uncritical policies and borrowing, which especially imported in Namibia as a post-colonial state. While in post-colonial research ethics, typically remind us that research and reform must be grounded in post-colonial ethics, while on Adamson and Mason, explain theories in comparative education helps to interpret by systems succeed or fail. So this one explain which theories will lead the system to fail or the system to succeed. Now, what are my personal reflection as a leader? Now, engage critically with politics and economics by recognizing that reforms succeed or failure is depend on national priorities and also resources. I acknowledge the impact of post-colonial legacy by ensuring that Namibia education system promote cultural relevance and indigenous knowledge rather than producing colonial pattern, and also learn to embrace multicultural and pedagogical pluralism by making classroom inclusive spaces where every learner's background is valued, and also to use comparative insights not only to copy from others' education system, but also to adopt policies that applies to Namibia's reality. Now, in conclusion, comparative education system is not just a course, but it's also a lens to analyze education as a political, economic, and cultural, and also social phenomenon. And I would like to thank my lecturer for the insight for carrying us throughout the year in terms of comparing education system for getting more information on why our education system fails or why our education system succeed. And I thank you.